If you're new here, I am Lulling Lisa, hoping to lull you into a state of sleep or relaxation through ASMR. But today's video is definitely going to be different. I don't know if I'll lull you into a state of sleep or relaxation because I am going to be reading to you your scary stories. A while back, maybe like a month or so ago, I asked you all if you had any scary stories to share during a video that I read you 11 scary stories online. So I found those scary stories online and some of you responded with your own scary stories, which had me thinking that I should make a video with your scary stories. So today I have 5 scary stories to share with you all from you. Now I will be reading them in order of shortest to longest. So the shortest story to the longest story, they're all really good. They're all very effective. And I believe they just keep getting better and better. So the first scary story that I have to read by you is by Gander. The username is Gander, so thank you so much, Gander, for submitting your scary or spooky story or experience. So, this is your story. I don't believe in ghosts, but when walking at night through the crossroads near the village where I grew up, the atmosphere felt so heavy and oppressive you could hardly breathe. The feeling lifted 50 yards or so down the road. Once I heard whispers all around me and what looked like candle lamps. I found out years later it was the old site of the gallows. Spooky. To which I replied, what are gallows exactly? And Gander said, gallows is where they used to hang people. So we were both creeped out by that story, Gander and I. It was a great story. Gander got a few thumbs up for that story, so some of you probably read these. So the gallows is where they hung people, and actually, because it's October and I'm watching quite a few scary movies and haunted episodes, I'm forced to watch them. But I've learned that basically a feeling of heaviness is quite common, so I do truly believe that you experience something very unusual, Gander. So thank you for sharing. And like I said, the stories keep getting longer and longer, so this next story is shared by Mike Fawbush. So hello Mike, and thank you for sharing your scary story. Now, you said true story. One time when I was about 13, me and my brother and our friend were hanging in my room. Watching a movie, in brackets, wasn't scary. I started hearing what sounded like someone walking up and down the stairs loudly. I looked at them and they looked at me. Did you hear that? Yeah, my parents weren't there. I thought it might actually be someone. I grabbed my baseball bat and left my room. Slowly started walking down the hallway. Turned the corner and nothing. What's weird is our dog was at the top of the stairs, quietly growling at the door. All the doors were locked. We all heard it. It was a very strange feeling. And a little background context, but Mike said I lived in that house from about the ages of 9 to 19, so 10 years, and I believe he said his mother heard it one time after, but never again. Thank you, Mike, for that creepy story. There's nothing like hearing noises when no one is around. Living in a condo now, I think I'm desensitized to hearing noises in the house, but it's a creepy feeling in a house for sure. The next story, they're getting a little bit by you, Nade Ray. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Nade Ray. So you said, I have a couple of my own. Here's one. If you're watching, Nade, I would like you to comment with another scary story so that we can all read in the comment section down below. So, you said, I'm from this little island called Mauritius. Anyway, so I went to the beach one day with my family, my mother, 2 brothers, and my sister. When we were coming back home, it was already really late. It was about 11 p.m. or 2300. So we were in the car driving past this completely abandoned road with just dense trees on both sides. There are no houses, no buildings, no bus stops, nothing nearby, so quite deserted. And there were also no street lights. It would be pitch black. So anyway, we were driving and suddenly we saw a woman walking just on one side of the road. She had a hat on and a backpack too. We thought it was weird because there was literally nothing but road surrounded by dense woods for miles and miles away. She kept on walking, and as she passed our car, she turned her head and grinned so widely. A big grin. I can never forget that face. It was not a normal grin. It literally went from ear to ear. We kept driving, obviously, and we passed her. We looked back right after, but there was no one. But here's the weirdest part. While me and my brother swore that it was a woman, my mom and sister said that it was definitely a man. That part was chilling to me because it's so strange that you and your brother saw a woman. You and your brothers saw a woman, and your sister and mother saw a man. That just makes this so much more real feeling. So Nade, Ray, that was an incredible story. Thank you for sharing. When I received these stories, they were so spooky that I read them to some of my family members. So this next one, this final one in the comment section before I read the one in the email that we both haven't read together. But this comment is by Legacy TYT. So thank you, Legacy, for sharing your story, and thank you all so much for participating. You've made this video happen, so thank you. Legacy says, yay, I can't wait to see if she will use my story. I'm really excited to see how y'all will think of it. Well, thank you, Legacy. Let's see what we think of it. This is quite long, so buckle up. So anyway, we've gone off to vacation with my mates. Mates is friends, in case you're not familiar. It's a huge, huge, huge forest in the middle of nowhere in the state of Pennsylvania. We're hiking to the cabin shop where the accountant will get you your keys or direct you to a spot in the forest where you'll set your tent. So keep in mind, you drive to the forest in order to reach the shop, which is on the side of the road. The cabin shop is an old-style shop, all made of wood. Lanterns and small pockets of holes for windows. No electricity, so it's pretty traditional. So we take our tent in the direction of our spot. We spend 9 days here. That's quite a camping trip. The first 3 days are normal and relaxing, but the 4th night, something about the number 4 creeps me out. But the 4th night, we decided to take a hike deeper into the forest. My buddy had a lighter so he could make a little fire. It turned to 2 a.m. and we could hear a stream of water flowing, so we decided to find it. sudden we see a faint white light. We literally rub our eyes, and it's coasting through the trees. Then it vanishes. I could distinctly remember the light, and in the light I could make out the image of a white wedding dress with what seemed like a red bow tie. My buddy and I ran back to our tent in terror. The next day we brushed it off because it was due in the morning, but I couldn't. It seems like it was really nothing, for the fifth night was all peaceful. The sixth night, though, was different. Our tent was about 300 yards from the shop and pretty isolated from other campers. During the night, I heard a faint scream and I could hear what sounded like an axe chopping down a tree, or trees. I peered out the zipper hole of my tent and saw nothing. I wake up my mate and asked if he heard anything, and he said no. But he did say he just felt a heaviness and coldness during the middle of July. See what I told you about a heaviness and coldness? It's like a common theme. The seventh day, I emphasize, my bud went to get more firewood while I kept the fire going for hot dogs. I hear wind rushing through the trees when I see the same white wedding dress again. I got a good look and I swear it had blood all over it. I literally dashed to the cabin because I was petrified, and I ran to my bud and he held me so I could catch my breath. I told him what I saw and he told me to calm down and that I was hallucinating. We only had 3 days left, but I had enough. I went to the accountant and there was the old lady at the front desk. I told her what I've been witnessing, and before I could utter another word, she interrupted with, "Young man, you've just witnessed the ghost of the restless bride." My face turned pale and she instantly knew. She went on to tell the tale of this ghost. In 1892, a wedding took place near a creek that had dried up now, and it was a joyous delight. After the bride and groom had been wedded, they took a horse strapped to a wagon and soon began their honeymoon. They ventured deep into the forest, following a trail. They stumbled upon some logs neatly stacked, and around came an old man with an axe. He was a lumberjack and had been preparing for the winter, hence the cool feeling. He asked where they were from, and they just simply replied, "We are newly wedded." He invited them inside his little stream cottage, asking if they needed anything to eat. They politely said yes, so he went out to grab his finest meat, which was his response. Moments later, he ran inside and beheaded the husband with his axe. He turned to murder the bride as she screamed in horror. Before she could get a foot out, she was struck in the back with the axe. Her dress was covered in blood as she ran out crying for help. She ran through the forest, then eventually onto the road, which is now the road to the cabin shop. For any oncoming horse wagons, she later died due to her injuries. It is said that she still wanders the forest and waves down cars for assistance. It has been reported that when driving late at night, her ghost is visible. Police reports reveal car crashes up the road where the car is either completely wrecked or the driver has gone missing. It is also reported that the lumberjack wanders the forest for other victims in the area. Safe to say I'm never going back. I don't blame you. The old lady told me that I described the dress perfectly, and hearing the axe chopping trees is also accurate. It's creepy to see something and then have your fears confirmed with a story. Like I could not imagine how spooky that would feel. So, oh my goodness, thank you so much for sharing. That is really creepy. So the last story from you is actually from a psychic medium. This is from at New England Medium LLC scary story. So, Debbie, thank you for your scary story. I seriously just read the intro that you sent me, the lovely intro, telling me where you're from and explaining who you are, that you're a psychic medium who talks to those who have passed away, and that you work on missing pet and people cases as well. And you're an award-winning co-writer of 2 novels. Fantastic. So, you said, when I saw your request for ghost stories, I jumped at the chance. I apologize for taking so long to reach out. With Halloween and the holidays around the corner, it's my busiest time of year. Here's one I think you'll enjoy. So I seriously read the first sentence and then I stopped reading, and then I said I'm going to save it to read it with all of you. So let's read Debbie's story together. This sounds so incredible. And it's quite long too, so that's exciting. You clearly have a lot of stories, Debbie. If you would like to share another one in the comment section of this video down below, please feel free. And any of you, please share as well. So this is Debbie's story. Bobby was a 7-year-old, light-haired boy who often visited me when I was a kid. Creepy, right? With his energetic vibe and infectious laugh, he was always in good spirits. He'd play with my siblings and I, running in the playground, hanging on the monkey bars. We ate meals and watched cartoons on early Saturday morning in our pajamas too. It was normal. So this is where I stopped reading so that we can read together, but this is quite long, so let's see where this goes. I remember him sitting in the back seat of our car, playing hide and seek and covering his ears when the fireworks went boom. Vanilla ice cream was his favorite, and he talked about being a fireman when he grew up. But Bobby was different. His skin was translucent. I could see through him, as it was like a thin veil. His voice would whisper, and then volume to a pitch that would echo. I got used to his differences, as it seemed like he was a cousin we took in. Then, in the middle of the night, he was in my bedroom, standing next to my bed. I slowly woke up and feel his hand on my arm. With tired eyes, I rubbed my warm cheek. "Bobby, what are you doing?" Staring at me, he smiled and took a few steps back to the wall. He waved with his hand for me to watch. Turning around to face the wall, he took one more glance at me and walked through it. Scared, and I may say shocked, I sat up in bed calling his name. "Bobby, Bobby, what the?" I carefully walked to the wall, not sure if I was going to be sucked in like Bobby. I touched the wall with my body shaking, and it was solid. I ran my fingers along the satin wallpaper in silence. He didn't return. With a white sheet tight around my body for the rest of the night, I didn't dare peek my head out until sunrise. My siblings and I awoke as usual with oat cereal and dressed for school, walking the same route every day. I watch as other kids are doing the same. Looking for Bobby like a bee searching for nectar, I realized he was missing. Questions ran through my mind on why I didn't notice it before. It took him to do a disappearing act through the bedroom wall for me to understand. All the playing, eating, jokes, TV, walking in the woods, and endless conversations of our dogs led me to believe he was like me. I was used to him being around, and I missed him as I continued to a long day at school. A week later, I had to do an errand for my mom. A small local convenience store was 1 block away. With the small list in my hand, Bobby popped in next to me, and I jumped with fright. "Bobby, what the heck?" Holding my chest tight, with a laugh, he put his hand on my back and said, "Hey, let's see who can run faster." junk and dead grass everywhere, I wasn't going to say that to him. Following him, we stopped at a window on the side of the house. He pointed at it as if wanting me to look in. I placed the brown paper bag on the concrete and grabbed a cement block, resting right near the window perch. The smell of cigarettes wafted through the screen, and the sound of a TV variety show was evident. A woman wearing a robe sat in an old brown chair with her hair wrapped in a thin scarf. She smoked tirelessly with an ashtray that littered the small table next to her. I looked at Bobby, and for some reason, I knew this was someone important to him. I stepped off the cement block and picked up the brown paper bag. "That's my room," he said with a loss in his eyes. I knew in that moment, coming to my senses, realizing he was not of my world, that he was a ghost. I didn't want to know the night he walked through the wall. I didn't want to know how he ended up there. The sadness set in, and we began walking from his house to mine. It became clear as we were around my family that they didn't know he was there. All this time, all the things we did, they didn't know, but I did. After seeing Bobby's mom in her environment, I began seeing ghosts all around me. Different ages, different circumstances, and different ways of communicating. I'd wake up in the middle of the night with a room filled with ghosts. They'd walk to school with me and join us for days at the community pool. Bobby continued his ghostly life with me, and so did many others. The good and the bad existed in his world, as it did in mine. There were nights I felt suffocated in my bed, to seeing hands reach out to grab me through the wall Bobby walked through. I knew I was special, as not many others admitted they could do what I was able to do. I learned at a young age there is more around us than meets our physical eye. Everyone has a story, and those in Bobby's world have a life of their own. Thank you for allowing me to email you this true story. Thanks for all that you do. You truly are amazing. Debbie. So Debbie has her website, newenglandmediumllc.com. So check her out if you'd like. Very, very interesting and fascinating. Thank you so much, Debbie, for sharing your scary story. That was incredible. And I can see how you're a writer because it was such a well-written story. I loved it. What did you think of these 5 scary stories? Which one was the scariest in your opinion? For me, they all creeped me out in different levels. I could just imagine them all happening, and it just gave me the chills reading them. So I'm happy that I could share these with all of you for Halloween weekend that we have here going on. It will be pretty soon Christmas for me around here because the 1st of November all of my Christmas decorations go up. So as a fan of all holidays, I really wanted to celebrate Halloween with you in this special way with these 5 scary stories from you. They were fantastic and they were so realistic. I could actually envision these things happening, and it honestly gives me the creeps. It may look dark in here, but it's not dark, so I don't think I'd have the guts to read these at night. But I hope you all enjoyed these 5 scary stories from you. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate. And if you would like to share your scary story in the comment section down below, please do so, and we can all read them together and comment them. And just, I really like to have an active comment section community going because it's so entertaining for me. I just love it. So thank you, everyone, and I do hope that you have a safe and happy, ghost-free, if that's what you want, Halloween. And I do look forward to seeing you in my